being pivotal in South Africa's transition. That was news to me. I remember being a very young man then, just about, and being a witness to that process and enjoying an extraordinary learning curve at that point. And that's where I think I fell in love with this country. Its commitment to the Constitution, which I watched being made. I was watching, I don't think I was particularly pivotal. Although I did play a role in Section 32 and the right of access to information, which I believe and still believe is an important right, and the extension of that right to privately held information as well as public information. So my mission, my mandate, I should say, my assignment is to do two things. One is to say something about Legasa and why it's important. Much of that groundwork has been laid already, so I can be very brief. The second is to indicate to you in why, in my view, Lauren Cohen is exactly the right person to lead this new organization. Both of these are a pleasure to do. On Legasa, I would say, and its role, I would say four things, very briefly. Firstly, it is relevant and timely, for all of the reasons that Justice Mahid put before you. Extremely relevant and timely, I would say. And so that's very clear. And having had some experience of setting up organizations, I think it's tremendously important at the outset that the mission is clear and relevant. Otherwise, you won't get the traction. Secondly, it's clearly focused and niche. And I think you'll hear about that from Lauren shortly. And that's again really important. It's tremendously important not to duplicate. One of the tremendous sins of the NGO world is unnecessary duplication, which is the cousin of unnecessary unhelpful competition for scarce resources. And I can see nodding heads from people who run organizations and have to fundraise. So it's very important to find your own niche and stick in that lane and stick to your knitting and be really good at it and let other people do other stuff. And of course, work with others and partner others. That's tremendously important. The third, and this builds on Madeline's points about systems thinking. What I like about the plan, what I like about the approach is that it takes a system approach. You know, there's an ecosystem. If you're going to influence change, you're going to change that system, it's going to have transformative paradigmatic effect. You have to understand that system. And you have to know which are the levers to pull that will have the big kind of impact. And I'm not certainly going to give a lecture on systems change theory right now at 6:25 on Friday for Solar Week, when some of us are extremely soned out, having stayed up to 2 a.m. last night with the president's spokesperson and speechwriters, which was probably unwise. But the fourth point is, I think, perhaps even more important than the systems change point, and that's the point about the role of the legal profession. And not enough thought is given to this topic of what is that role? What is the purpose of the legal profession? What mission does it serve? I was told that we are servants of the court. We have clients and bosses, and they pay the bills and give salaries and so on. That's obviously important. But if this idea of being a servant of the court is to mean anything, it means that we have a public purpose, which should, in theory at least, trump all else. And being clear about that, I think, is tremendously important. In other words, the profession has a normative quality to it. It's not about changing a widget, or putting a new cylinder in the car, or fixing the brakes, or sorting out the plumbing. It's not technical. There is a technical side, obviously, but there is a normative role, a values-based role. And I believe that the role of intermediary professions, trusted advisors, whether they be accountants, management consultants, or indeed lawyers, need to recognize that wider responsibility. And a great deal more thought has to be given to lawyers, by lawyers, about their role in society at this particular moment in history, both domestically and internationally. We have the power and the responsibility that comes with our profession and with the education and privilege that comes with it. And if we don't step up to the leadership responsibilities that come with that, then I think we actually abandon a kind of ethical responsibility that comes with that very substantial commitment to our role as servants of the court. So that's why I think Legasa is a very well-timed and good organisation, and I believe we will do great things, or you will do great things, and I hope that people will support you in that endeavour. Secondly,